Hey guys, Grant here, and I've just got a little. Which side are we? That's on. My camera's reversed. Hope you're well. Um, so, been thinking a lot the last couple of days about what I teach and who I help and so on. And there was a question that I was asked by a friend of mine, Sam. Hi. She said, "Grant, do you think?" And she directed the question at me. She said, "Do you think you're making all of this too complicated for people to get?" Because there's a lot in, like, if I have a look around my office at the moment, there's up on this whiteboard here, there's solutions for this and that. I look over on that whiteboard over there, there's solutions for this and that. If I look even at the map behind me here, this is for a little program that I've just put together, and there's solutions for this and that. And there's a whole heap of stuff that you can get overwhelmed with in business. And I wanted to really just put together a very simple, really easy to understand strategy that's just 3 steps. How many fingers was that? Just 3 steps, right? So I want to give it to you, and if you'd like a copy of it after this, just just tell me in the comments below that you'd like a copy of it, right? And I'm seeing there's not. I don't. This program I'm using gives me a delay, so I actually can't see live as we're going how many people are here. At the moment, I can see there's no one here. But if you're watching this later, if you're watching this not live, then yeah, go ahead and request that later. So I've got my iPad here, and that's what you can see on the screen there. And I'm using a few programs to make this all happen, but hopefully you enjoy what I have to give to you here. So in thinking about your business, where you're at, where you want to go, how you're feeling at the moment, those sort of things, I want you to and you can just draw these circles for yourself. First of all, we want to have a think about, excuse my messy writing, your environment. Now, when I talk about your environment, I'm not talking about the trees and the ozone layer. I'm talking about where you are and where you live. So I was listening to a really cool Facebook Live this morning from a friend of mine in the States, Colin. And he said that when he used to drive home to his old house, he used to feel like the energy was getting sucked out of his life. And then I got thinking about some people that I've worked with in the past and their businesses. And I was thinking about the energy that their business gave them. One in particular, they had a really cramped sort of small business, and they didn't have the freedom to move. Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, their business had grown, but where they were doing business hadn't grown with them. So, and they were one of my very first clients, and they're a big business now. They were a very small business then. They're a big business now. Anyway, what occurred to me is that I had forgotten to keep talking about this, your environment, where you are. If where you are affects, check this out, it affects let me see if I can write this in without making a mess. It affects what you think, how you feel, and what you have, right? That says have. Excuse my messy writing. I'm writing with that on that. So it's not as good as pen and paper. So your environment is made up of your thoughts, your feelings, and the things you see around you. So, I started working with a very well-known cafe when I've rebirthed my business back in 2008. No, 2011. I started working with this cafe. Anyway, we went through the entire cafe, and even in the corners, and we got cotton buds and cleaned in the corners. We changed all of the light fittings. We looked at all of the glasses. We looked at all of the plates, all of the knives, all the forks, every little thing that was in there. That was all of the have. And we talked about the emotions that were attached in the restaurant. We talked about how the staff were thinking and so on. And you know what we did? We changed the environment little by little by little by little. And then as a result of changing the environment in the business, you wouldn't believe what happened. People started coming. People that were there once started coming back. And then they started coming back more often. And then when they came back more often, they started spending more money. So the environment not only changed for the business owner, it changed for the staff. And by the way, some of the staff left, which was good. And some of the staff that stayed changed. And then after a year or so, then none of the original staff were there and there was a whole new bunch in. So and the environment continued to change. But in your business, if you're not getting breakthrough, you need to first of all focus on your environment, where you are, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and what you have. And if any of your thoughts aren't the thoughts that you want to be having, you need to change them. And I don't want to sound flippant on that, but you need to start to think about how you can change those thoughts. If the way you're feeling about your business isn't the way you want to be feeling, you need to change what you're doing so you can feel differently about it, or you just won't be productive. You'll stay stuck. And the next part is what you have, what you're surrounded with. If that's not what you want, it's okay to chuck some stuff out. So first step is environment. Second step is here. This is your ambitions. There's an old fellow who lives over the road from me. And he's always saying things like, you got your ambitions mixed up with your capabilities. It's okay to think big. It's okay to think big thoughts. So your ambitions are very much made up of these three things. Your ambitions are made up of your dreams. So if you've stopped dreaming in business, then let me challenge you on that today. If you've been in business for quite a while and you've all of a sudden stopped dreaming, I want to encourage you to start dreaming again. Your vision, that is, what do you see in your immediate surroundings and what can you see for your future? And your desires. One of the best questions I was ever asked as a client of a coach, great guy, he said, really simply said, what do you want? And he asked me that question, like 20 times. What do you want? What do you want? I couldn't, because my answer back then, I was so stuck. My answer was, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Once we finally drilled down to what I wanted, we got my ambitions sorted out. We then looked at my immediate environment. We looked at what needed to change in my thinking, what needed to change in how I felt, and what needed to change in my surroundings. And we made adjustments according to that. My ambitions then, my dreams, my visions, and my desires very much became my next set of goals. And those next set of goals, they did this. They helped me to form my action steps. See, if you're in an environment where you're feeling really stuck and you don't know where to go, you won't take action steps unless you get your ambitions sorted out. So if you've stopped dreaming, if you're in business and you're all about doing and you've stopped dreaming, I want to encourage you to start dreaming again. If you don't have a vision, if you can't see it, if you've got words going in your head like impossibility, then your ambitions and your environment overlap between your thoughts and where you think you can go. There's some discord there. And you may need to work with somebody on that. And that's why a lot of people have a coach. And that's what I spend a lot of my time doing with my clients as well. The next step here is your capacity. Now, capacity is something that I talk a lot about I'm in a volunteer organisation as well as running my business. And capacity is something that's talked about at a leadership level with volunteers. If you have somebody who's willing, that's one thing. So if you've got somebody who's ambitious, that's one thing, and that's great. But then if they don't have the capacity, then you won't get things fulfilled. Things won't get done. So things won't get finished. So your capacity is made up of three things. Capacity is made up of your time, and that has to do with time management. Your team, that is the people that you have asked or could ask or will ask to help you. And in business, not in volunteer leadership, but in business, it's made up of your money as well, your budgeting and your capacity to do with money. Now, these two things here, capacity, I'll just shrink that back down. Capacity and environment. So the amount of time you've got, the amount of team or people you've got to help you, and the amount of money that you've got, that combined with your environment, you've got action steps and then you've got planning steps. when you know your capacity, then it's possible for you to plan. It's like saying, I just got off the call earlier with a client who wants to have a holiday, and the thing that we had to work with the most in the phone call that I had with that client was her capacity. So her environment in terms of thinking and feeling was shrinking because of her imagination on time, which was capacity. So if we had managed the capacity, then we managed the environment, which allowed us to plan. Now the planning, that's taken care of, we can immediately start taking some action steps. If we have a look at, I'm in the right color. If we have a look then the overlap between capacity and ambition, this is where your learning takes place. And it might be that you're learning from somebody else, or it might be that you're learning things about yourself. It's where you get to create new rules for your life and new rules for yourself, and find out who you really are and what you can really do and what you can have. So there's three other things as well. So if your ambitions aren't taken care of, then you'll be telling yourself something like this. You'll be telling yourself something like, don't have what it takes. And this is, when I work with business owners, there's a lot of self-talk that goes on in people's minds. And one of the things I hear quite commonly is, I don't have what it takes. It's a comparison to other people. So the ambitions tend to shrink, and people tend to shrink back because they tell themselves they don't have what it takes. But if we have a look at your capacity and your environment, then we can work with your ambitions. And that saying of don't have what it takes disappears, right? So you can get rid of that one. Here's another one. No time, no money. I've been in sales for a very, very long time, since I was 14, so 30 years. And three big objections to any sale is I don't have time and I don't have money. But really what they're saying is that they don't understand their capacity. They just don't have a capacity for these things. They see themselves as being full, which really says there's time management issues, or there's some financial constraints that they haven't got their finances organized, or maybe they just don't know how to ask for help. They just don't know how to reach out. Maybe they feel that, got a rule around, help, which is like, asking for help means that you're weak, or asking for help means you're stupid, or asking for help means you're a failure, or whatever it is. But it's just simply not true. So working on the capacity steps with somebody in business helps with the problems of time and money, right? And the last one, stuck, or I'm just going to put unmotivated. Could have left myself a bit more room there. Unmotivated. That's more to do with your environment. So the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the people you associate with, the quality of the thoughts you have, and the quality of the information you take in, right? That's your environment, thinking, feeling, and having. If you have this feeling of unmotivation or demotivation or feeling stuck and you're in business, then the first thing we need to start working with is your environment. We need to get that right. Maybe there's some things we need to delete. Maybe there's some things that we need to move on. And perhaps there's some things we need to tweak in your life as well. So I wanted to give you just a really simple model of breakthrough this morning. It's this afternoon. This morning when I thought about it, I wanted to give you a very simple model so that you can see it's not overly complicated. People that do what I do for a living, clever clogs who go out and talk about business coaching and so on, have a tendency, and I've been guilty of this myself in the past, have a tendency to overcomplicate things, and it just doesn't need to be. It's really just these three simple steps, these three foundational elements. So I trust you found this little Facebook Live useful today. See Louise and Colleen and Janine have been here and gave me a thumbs up. If you like this video as well, give it a thumbs up or a heart. I love the hearts. They're good. Or a smiley face if you want to give it a smiley face. really encourage, if you've stayed all the way through to the end here, I encourage you to share this video as well, because you've obviously found it useful, and I'd love you to share it. So just click the little share icon and go ahead and share that with your friends, because they might find it useful as well. And just if you'd like to jump on a call with me, just type the word call in the bottom and I'll Facebook call you. So in Messenger, we can do a phone call. And that's been really cool. I've had some great chats over this last week or so to some people in the US. I spoke to one guy in Scotland, which was really, really cool. He's got the same name as me, Grant Mullen, in Scotland. And that was really cool. We had a great old chat once we got past the accent barrier. So if you have found this useful today and you would like to have a chat, just type chat into the box below and we can jump on a call. But for now, that's it. I'm going to go grab some lunch, and I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to hearing back from you soon. All the best and go well. Now all I'm going to do is find the finish button. This is, by the way, I just want to tell you real quick for the tech heads, for the people that like this sort of stuff, this is a little app called Ecamm Live, and to show you guys my iPad, I'm using, what's it called? Reflector, the Reflector app. So if any of that's useful for you as well, if you're a tech head, that's what you use to do these sort of things. That's it, guys. I'm off. Catch you later.